It's a magical day, friends. I hope you're ready for the hot news that we're going to be delivering to you. And I hope you're ready for today's existential question, which is water's flavor based on temperature? Think about it. Okay, is cold water taste different than hot water? I think so, even if it's coming from the same source. I don't care if you give me a science answer, water's temperature determines its flavor. According to me, you answer the question down below. But you can also check out down below in the video description today's video sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Synergy. What you can see right here, my friends, is I have Synergy installed on my desktop, and every time I need to benchmark a PC or work on one for review, such as this laptop that I'm currently working on, I set up Synergy as the first thing so that I can manage both my personal computer, but also the computer that I'm working on, and I can just use my keyboard and mouse on both of them at the same time. I just come over to the laptop and look, I'm using my desktop mouse to control it. I can use my keyboard, I can copy and paste, and Synergy is the great tool for you to use in case you need to use your keyboard and mouse across multiple different setups, whether it be Mac, Linux, Windows. You can have it on all of them, and it's at an affordable price starting at only $29 for the software license, $39 for the pro license, including SSL encryption. So if you want, you can check out Synergy down below at the link in the video description. Get rid of KVM switches, get rid of a double keyboard and mouse setup. Just use Synergy to simplify your life and to control multiple PCs at once. We're going to start off today's episode of Hot News by just talking about what we talked about in yesterday's Hot News about Crysis being remastered. Well, there's more information that came out in a little bit of time in between when we released the video and when we're filming now, which is it was officially on Crysis's own website that Crysis Remastered brings new graphics features, high quality textures, and CryEngine's native hardware and API agnostic ray tracing solution for the PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and for the very first time, Nintendo Switch. There were Crysis Remastered assets on there, as well as a coming soon page that people were able to data mine for. So, Crysis Remastered confirmed, your PC should begin crying now. Let's get into the title of today's episode, which is about the PlayStation 5, which apparently Sony doesn't have as much confidence in to sell as they did the PlayStation 4, or they might just be using this as an excuse for supply chain issues that they might be running into because of Voldemort happening right now. But the official story from the word from Bloomberg is that Sony is limiting how many consoles they're going to produce in the first few months because of the fact that they don't believe they're going to hit as many sales marks as they did with the PS4. And the main reason for that is the pricing. So they're expecting, according to Bloomberg, that the pricing for the next-gen PlayStation 5 would be between $500 and $550, which is why Sony thinks that it's not going to sell as well. So they're anticipating only shipping 5 to 6 million units in their first fiscal year from November to March, which sounds like a few units, but also when you put it in context of the PlayStation 4, according to the Bloomberg article, they said that they sold 7.5 million units in the first quarter. So that is a considerable reduction, almost 33% less sales. However, if you look on Wikipedia with their sales section for the PlayStation 5, it's closer to like 6.5 million. So if Sony produces 6 million PS5s, they're almost on track for the worldwide sales targets. However, with the current global economy meltdown that's happening right now, we could even see fewer units than that being sold for a super expensive console. If we go back to January, launching a more expensive console made a lot of sense. The economy seemed to be in mostly good shape. Everything was trending upward. Unemployment was at a record low. Things were good, but now a few months later, a more expensive console actually makes less sense. So maybe we should ask the government to send us PlayStation stimulus checks. That's what I'm looking towards. I haven't gotten mine yet. Have you guys gotten your stimulus checks? If so, what are you spending it on? Are you spending it on essentials? Are you spending it on goods? Are you buying an NVIDIA RTX 2080 Ti, which costs $1,200? Let us know down below in the comments. I still can't get mine. I've gone on the IRS websites and it's just like payment status, shut up. We don't know.
Pay me my money.
That's not the only console news that we have going on today. Apparently, there's some Nintendo Switch news out there because there was a code found in the latest update of version 10.0 that added new DRAM profiles for the Nintendo Switch, which why would you add DRAM profiles if you're not changing the DRAM, as well as a new hardware model known as NXABCD, and there's other indication that this might be a multi-screen Nintendo Switch a la the Nintendo 3DS, which would be incredibly weird. And I don't think I like it. I don't like the idea of a dual screen Switch. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it could also just be that the NXABCD is a placeholder name and that we're not getting any new hardware and that Nintendo firmly doesn't care about giving you better hardware. They just want to give you games. Speaking of launching new stuff though, we talked about in a previous episode of Hot News this week, Lian Li's new tempered glass case desk that's also a standing desk, a motorized version of that, and we talked about how it was amazing because it has electrochromic glass to hide your PC underneath when you don't want to show it off, and then you can flip it on and then you see your PC. Well, they have finally announced the price of the DK05F and 04F, and it's honestly not that bad. The DK05F, which can support 2 fully water-cooled PCs, is $2,000, which is less than the DK05, and the DK04F is going for $1,500. So not as expensive as I was anticipating. I've contacted Lian Li to see if they could get us a review sample. You can even pre-order it on Newegg right now for the $2,000. I would love to get one. Lian Li, if you're listening, please send your boy one. I will use the crap out of it, okay? Yes, just please, for me. You know you love me. And it appears that Western Digital and Seagate don't like being reliable when it comes to NAS storage servers, because it's been found out that Western Digital and Seagate have been using SMR, also known as shingled magnetic recording, with their NAS hard drives, which sometimes makes it very difficult to put them in RAID, which is a very common scenario for NAS hard drives. And there's been reports of people finding out that their Western Digital Red hard drives are getting kicked out of RAID assemblies for whatever reason, and it turns out it's because they have SMR enabled, which is just something that you don't want on this. Western Digital came out and said, yes, we do use that, but only on our lower tier drives, 2 to 6 terabytes. Those are the ones that have SMR. The ones above that have CMR, so you don't have to worry about that. But everybody's just like, you're selling us NAS hard drives that aren't as effective as they should be in RAID. This is a bad move. Seagate also implicated in this based on what other people have found, such as on SmartMon tools. So they haven't come out with a response as of recording right now, but Western Digital admitting, but not really saying that they're going to change anything. Just, stop being so broke that you can't afford 18 terabyte drives, okay? Stop buying the 2 terabyte drives. That's the solution here, people. You've got that stimulus money. And I'm tempted to use my stimulus money to fly on over to China to buy this Chewy Aero Box, which is a weird name, obviously, but it's done in the style of the Xbox One S. It almost looks like it, but on top of that, it's using the same motherboard as the Xbox One S, and it's running older hardware such as the AMD A9 9820 APU based on the Jaguar architecture. So there's a PC manufacturer in China making an Xbox One S PC, which I like, but also I think we're going to very quickly show that console optimization is a very real thing, and that Jaguar in 2020 is terrible, and you shouldn't be playing on it. You're not going to get this. Don't buy the Chewy. Okay, it looks beautiful though. I do like it. I do like the look. But what doesn't look beautiful is this throwback to 90s motherboards from Lenovo. Lenovo, my friends, they're apparently going to be releasing their own line of Legion gaming motherboards. And by golly, does this look like something from the Core 2 Quad era of motherboards. Look at those heat sinks. This is like mid 2000s, almost early 90s type of branding. Apparently it's going to be used in the OEMs as of right now. Whether or not they're going to be selling it to consumers, probably not. I wouldn't buy one that looks like this, but it's going to apparently support for the current generation Coffee Lake and potentially next generation Comet Lake as well. They are not hideous, but definitely retro. Ugly retro.
They're whack.
Freeze has it. They're whack. You know what else is whack? Voldemort. And it's canceling of physical events. Social distancing is whack. I'll say that. It's going to be so weird meeting people again for the first time. Like being in a group meeting and being like, I know that we're in close proximity, but I am now suspicious of everybody, and I don't like this. Anyways, this is my segue into talking about how Gamescom has officially been canceled in their physical form and now will be taking place solely online. And solely online was the announcement of the Apple iPhone SE yesterday, coming in at a price point of only $400, losing a few of the creature comforts that you would get with the iPhone 11, which goes for $700. However, it has the same processing chip, which is insane. It has the same SoC as a $7,000 to $1,000 smartphone. Crazy stuff. It has Touch ID brought back. It's basically the iPhone 8 form factor, which is great. Comes in several different colors, up to 256 gigs of storage at $550 if you so want. I read that if you got the iPhone SE with an AirPods, with an Apple Watch, $750 is your out the door price. That's actually really great value. Bless you again. We're in a weird world where the iPhone SE is providing more value than OnePlus. That's crazy. We're in a crazy world. And it's crazy that we're all stuck at home. So Disney Plus is preparing a Mandalorian behind the scenes series for everybody so that you can see how Jon Favreau, I don't know how to say his name, the guy behind Elf, how he made the show. There you go.
We have put together a system whereby which we can have game engine, real-time render, and video wall technology coming together to create a backdrop for the big, beautiful world of Star Wars.
And there's unfortunately going to be more people who worked for GoPro staying at home because they have announced that they're laying off 200 employees, or 20% of their workforce, due to this whole Voldemort stuff that's going on right now. They're saying that the Q1 revenue will be less than half of what it was in 2019, so that they're letting go of a lot of people, which is probably only the beginning of massive companies laying off a ton of people. And Riot is laying off the gore for their esports shooter Valorant, at least when it comes to the esports broadcast. They're going to be replacing the blood that you can find in the game with sparks. You know, you're using guns to shoot people and mow people down and using the words headshots, but sparks to keep it family friendly and to bring in as many sponsors as possible. Yes. I saw a joke on Twitter talking about how headshots should just be referred to cranial massages. Cranial massages that shoot at sparks. It's beautiful because Valorant's just, it's too bloody. You know what else was bloody? The SATs. It was a bloody, bloody time for your brain. It was hard. Not really. I did really well in the SATs. Humble brag. Actually didn't do that great. I was like middle of the pack. Anyways, the whole point is that the College Board is apparently preparing digital SATs in case that schools remain closed, as well as at-home versions of the ACT for people to take. Apparently the AP tests are now going to be 45 minutes instead of 3 hours and will be open book, which is crazy for people taking AP tests. This is a weird world to live in for college entrance exams and all that kind of stuff. I don't feel bad for you. I actually would have preferred to take all of my tests at home. That would have been so much nicer for me. You got it easy. As long as this doesn't affect like your future of being like, oh, you graduated from Harvard, but your senior year was during. Did you actually pass your classes? Did you? I don't know. But with all of this Voldemort stuff going on right now, I think we all want to go back to simpler times. I think the simplest times was the 1990s, because that's when I was growing up. That's when I felt the most simple. I still am a little simple, but that's not the point. In order to bring back simplicity, you want to go back to the 90s. Well, guess what? There are now official Neon Genesis Evangelion Tamagotchis coming out in June. Yeah. Tamagotchis, Neon Genesis. You don't get better than this, more 90s than this. There you go, friends. You could totally have that. And you could totally have better colors on your Tesla. Yes, we're talking about expensive $35,000+ cars. Segueing from Tamagotchis, the Tesla Berlin factory, according to Elon Musk, is going to have the most sophisticated paint car setup in the whole world. Car paint setup. I don't know why I messed that up. Saying that it can do multi-layers to give it a nice 3D pop and a 3D feeling to the cars. Not on the Cybertruck, which will not be painted. It's just gonna be stainless steel and then you can wrap it yourself. Anyways, it does seem like Elon Musk is talking a big game when it comes to the paint on his cars. And there's a lot of new paint on Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's kind of a beautiful upgrade from the original Final Fantasy VII. Turns out Sony's third best first-party title so far. It had a total of 2.3 million players in the first 3 days since release, losing out to God of War, which had 2.4, and Marvel's Spider-Man, which had 3 million players in those same time frame. I don't know why I blocked up my speech like that. I'm so sorry. So this would make it probably the best-selling Final Fantasy game of all time, at least in the initial launch window. Whether or not it has the legs to continue to sell, we'll have to wait and see. I've put about 10 hours in the game so far. I absolutely love it. It's kind of padded, but in like that, oh, you're fleshing out the characters and making everything more endearing and more lovely type of way, and not the padding of like, you should have just ended this already. I hate this so much. Like, I'm 10 hours in and I want more. I want more, even though 10 hours of that was just like, I'm not even at the open world part, if there isn't even an open world part. I don't even know if there is. I don't know. And I don't know what's going on with Amazon France. But I have to tell you, something's not right with those people who's managing the inventory systems. Because yesterday, there were several postings on Amazon France showing PC releases of Days Gone, Persona 5 Royal, Gran Turismo Sport, The Last of Us Part 2, all going on to Amazon France saying it's come out and for PC. It was all just somebody was doing the wrong thing and messed it up and made it so it said PC. But basically, Amazon France came out and said, Sacre bleu, we messed up. And then Sony also coming out and saying, we're not releasing those on PC. So if you had your hopes risen for the fact that you wanted new PlayStation 4 titles on the PC, you're just getting Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding. Hold your tongue on the rest of them. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a year exclusive, so maybe we'll get a PC release next year, but not Days Gone, not Persona 5 Royal, not anything else as of this moment. So just relax. And I'm gonna relax on into asking the existential question of the day. Is water's flavor based on temperature? Does cold water taste different than lukewarm water, which tastes different than hot water? Answer down below. And again, while you're down there, click on the link for today's video sponsor. Synergy, control multiple setups. I'm using my desktop right here, come on over, use the laptop right over here. Synergy works seamlessly to make sure that your systems are set up and you can work with the least clutter possible. Check them out at the link in the video description. That's it. I like you guys. I like that you watch me. Thank you for keeping us fed during these uncertain times by watching our videos. It means a lot. In case you want to check out Hot News Live, don't forget we live stream every weekday on twitch.tv/UFD Disciple. You can come follow us over there and chat with us. The whole point of us doing it live is so that we can get viewer feedback. We can just kind of have a conversation about everything that we talk about in Hot News. It's a lot of fun. Check us out, twitch.tv/UFD Disciple. I'm going to be bouncing on out of here.
That was an awful bounce.
That was. I'm done.